Now, some very good news about an issue that we've covered a lot on this show by interviewing Marc Hendrickx. Well, he's been campaigning for years against the bans that have been put on climbing mountains almost everywhere, and more bans since Aboriginal groups and park officials banned climbing on Uluru, for instance. Since then, many other bans, including climbing Mount Warning in New South Wales, Mount Arapiles and parts of the Grampians of Victoria and so on. Marc then put in a Freedom of Information request on government plans for Queensland's Mount Beerwah, only to find that bureaucrats were even discussing banning that as well. Again, for Aboriginal cultural reasons. That sure got the attention of Queensland's new Environment Minister.
I want to respond to some remarks I've seen in media today that the previous government may have been considering permanent closures of Mount Beerwah or other peaks within the Glasshouse Mountains. As the relevant minister, let me categorically rule that out. That will not be happening.
Well, good on you, Mr. Powell. In fact, Marc Hendrickx, other crusade, the right to climb Mount Warning in New South Wales, has also now got some political backing. The federal opposition's tourism spokesman, Kevin Hogan, yesterday backed by a traditional owner.
This has harmed businesses. We don't have the tourism icon that this was now available for people to experience and to enjoy. Over 100,000 people used to climb this mountain every year, and this was a multi-million-dollar stimulus for our local economies.
And I'd like to see the gate open for the summit so people can walk up there to see the summit and to see and to witness creation of the nature of Mount Warning.
Kevin Hogan. Marc Hendrickx from Save Our Summits is also a geologist. He joins me now. Marc Hendrickx, congratulations. You've got a win on Mount Beerwah and at least a fight on Mount Warning. Why is climbing Mount Warning banned?
Look, Mount Warning's been banned and it's coming up to the 5-year anniversary of that ban, Andrew, and this was called a temporary ban. You know, we're half a decade into this thing. It's been banned because of cultural safety. So apparently if non-Indigenous people go to the summit, though, they might get sick. That seems to be the rationale coming from the National Parks and Wildlife Service in New South Wales. So it's completely ridiculous.
It sure is that we're forced to obey religious bans that I don't even think many Aborigines seriously believe anymore. Either there will be some, of course, but you've already talked to a couple of traditional owners around there that don't believe it. So the whole thing is really quite weird. Why should climbing be allowed?
Climbing and adventure activities in our national parks form really the bedrock of the reason that those national parks exist. Without that, Australia we wouldn't have the tourism industry we have, for instance. You know, the Great Barrier Reef National Park, despite all the claims coming out of Canberra that the reef is dying, still attracts, you know, hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. In terms of the mountains, there's nothing better than spending the day walking up to the summit, challenging yourself, in company with friends or just doing it solo, family, bringing your kids up there and really enjoying and appreciating the natural wonders that they provide. It's something that is a foundation stone, really, of Australian culture. You know, when we look back in time, back to the exploration of the country, it's something that we've been doing for generations, and the idea that it should be banned is simply an attack on our Australian cultural heritage.
But what about the argument by activists that climbing these mountains, since they're sacred, according to some, is like climbing a church and should be banned?
We've got a wonderful multicultural society in Australia, and there are all sorts of weird and wonderful beliefs out there. I don't think there's any other group in the country that is really forcing their beliefs on other groups. So, look, if you're a member of an Aboriginal community and you believe that it's culturally unsafe to climb, I think that's fair enough. But the idea that you're forcing those beliefs on the rest of the country is simply wrong, and it's something that we need to fight against.